LootBet, online esports betting. Dota, CSGO, Overwatch, Hearthstone, and many more. Bet on tournament matches or in-game events while viewing them live. Deposit using money, bitcoins, or even skins. Join LootBet now. Use the code you see here when you deposit and grab your bonus.
Welcome to the StarSeries Qualifier for the 5th season of the IA League. My name is Sesh. We're taking a look at the CIS season today. And not only the CIS region we're going to cover, it's especially a region where now the final has to be finally played. It is AVANGAR versus Gambit. And a lot of people probably throughout this entire qualifier thought like there would be way more interesting options and way more other options, especially from teams competing in this tournament besides AVANGAR. And I think AVANGAR in total is a very underestimated team by a few individuals. And also a lot of people think that this team is right now not running the way it should and somehow having mistakes. And the thing is, for you, of course, only for you, I've talked to a man called Kickard. And you ask yourself, who the hell is Kickard? Well, Kickard is the guy who's right now at the IGL at AVANGAR, as they have switched positions recently. Jamie have left, the only Russian player. And so they picked up Ramzik from Tengri, who a few of you maybe have heard of because he's an extremely strong AWP individual. If he can now do it against Gambit, that is a different story, maybe, because the team itself has some very interesting kind of setups by itself it can run. And as Kickard said, I don't understand how some people feel the pressure as being an IGL, or he himself is a little bit surprised that right now he can still top frag and call for the team. Whilst saying that, the question was like, do you think your team is a little bit less structured? Do you think your team is more likely not such a strategy strong team? And his response to that was that he thinks the team is actually strategical, but they have that young gun power, you know, where they're fast-paced, where they're individually very strong, and rating-wise, of course, Kickard and Co are a little bit better than Gambit. On the other side, logically, the opponents of Kickard and Co are a little bit weaker than the ones of Gambit. And totally said that, first of all, and he feels like strategy calls are okay for him, but he doesn't need to talk too much to the team because they all know what they're doing either way. Same way with SK, by the way. From talking to a friend of mine, majorly they don't talk too much, for example, strategy-wise. Like talking which strat or going through how do we do it. It's very much set in their brains already as they practice so long. And Kickard and his team are on boot camp for like over a month, and like over a month is a good bunch of time. It's understandable that they have that kind of mentality and that kind of attitude already. Back when I asked him if he's gonna beat Flipside, he said, I mean, it's a good team. Lollipop is a great addition, but in total, we're the younger guns. We're having that fresh power. And I see what he meant. I saw what he meant, and he's done a really good job with that. Whilst now we're talked a lot about AVANGAR, we switch over to the lads of Gambit, as the once major winners back in 2017 have switching through a few players. Fitch was not a perfect component for the 5-man roster anymore, so they got themselves seized, while Fitch is now playing for Tengri, which we earlier talked about. It's actually one of the more younger and more upcoming Kazakhstan teams. You barely see them on HLTV, but it's very much the opportunity to be a talent camp. And as far as I know, the resources behind Tengri are also quite massive. Back to the actual topic. Hobbit is the second newest edition. He was introduced back in 2017 during August. Right now in January, Seized came in as trial in February of this year. And then you have 3 so solid components with Adren, Doja, and Mu, excuse me, how you call him, with Andy being the coach since last year, October. And that had brought the team a little bit of change. I know back when they played Asus Raw Qualifier, they used to actually have themselves with some kind of Doja calling. Now they're still not 100% sure how to do it, but it feels like they have gotten themselves a good addition here with Seized, and the entire kind of in-game lead might have switched over to that. So I personally feel we're going to have a very, very interesting best of 3 with us right now, and to actually be very accurate about what I'm saying, the maps we're taking a look at are Train, which has been picked by Gambit. Then we got Mirage, which has been picked by the lads of AVANGAR, and in the end, Cash was left over. Qualifier. So two very frag heavy maps, you could say, two very individual heavy maps, as Mirage and Cash are sometimes can be just carried through by certain players because they can play a little bit more casual, a little bit more loose. Whilst though Train is a very, very tactical approach map where you have to be very good as a CT, the way you hold actual positions, like many accesses to the A site, for example, just very basic, and the most of you know it, but it is something you still can take a look out for, something where you can easily fall down. And whilst we have the time, we're going to take a look at the tournament tree real quick. I have to switch over, which means I'm going like this, going like that. Yes, yes, yes. Let's see, can I remove the ads? I think I removed the ads. I think I'm a genius. Hold on. There we go. All right, the tournament tree recently has been in teams invited and teams actually participating due to being in the open qualifier. Let me see who it actually was, because I would be probably lying to you. Yeah, so Forsey came into bets.net, QBF high seed, and then we had a few others. No, who was invited? And my confusion level is so high. Who made it through? They were invited. They came through bets.net. And my brain can't comprehend. I'm not that smart today. I have to really... No, there it is. There it is. Okay, perfect. So, to make sure who actually has been invited, it was Gambit, Quantum Ball of Fire, AVANGAR, and Spirit. And the other three, they have actually been making it through. That was Forsey, Flipside, good job in EPG. Interesting enough, in towards the end, when we take a look at it again, it was Spirit coming through against Forsey, then lost instantly against AVANGAR. AVANGAR basically dominated. Flipside, QBF could find the way against good job, and Gambit in EPG. That was quite obvious. Funny story, back in EPG, there is actually Hooch, who used to be part of the roster a bit back in the day. Right now, we're about to be good to go. And I see right now we're having our first one in just a second. So we should be also running directly in the game. We're directly going in. My name is Sesh. I'm going to guide you through this lovely night. It's Saturday and you're watching Gambit versus AVANGAR live here at StarSeries EN. Oh, and just that you know, I'm talking to you. We're talking to each other, right? I can read your chat and stuff, but I have 120 seconds delay, which means you don't have to be surprised or wondering. So, you know, now you're just aware of it. I don't want to be you like, God damn, this caster says he's talking to us, but then he's not speaking a word. No, it is actually due to the reason that we have some delay on this stream, 120 seconds to be accurate. And there we're starting off with our number one. It's gonna be Train, picked by Gambit. And as we're at it, highly excited how this will go. As I personally see a lot of people underestimating AVANGAR and a lot of people overestimating Gambit, without saying that Gambit is a bad team. Please don't get me wrong about this, but I personally feel AVANGAR has a good option to take this up. AVANGAR has literally a good option about doing this. As we're talking about it, an entire Kazakhstan Russian army just getting on to the AVANGAR guys. And Louisiana, thank you very much. Let's see if our command works. It does. Okay, without getting too confused about the chat, about being annoying to you, logically as well. We're starting off with Gambit versus AVANGAR. Train is where, technically speaking, the lads around Moo and Co could start domination. Because Train is actually a map which Gambit is quite experienced at. They have beaten a few teams on this recently. EPG, also Quantum Ballad of Fire, Cloud9, Liquid, Space Soldiers, just to name a few. That opens up opportunity, and what we're seeing right now is actually Gambit taking a massive B aggression, nearly pushing on the top of Popdog, and Demasig, he seems to be a little... he's a little disillusioned right now, because what the hell just happened? Why did they push at us? And the rotation is massive right here. Ramzik, though, comes in from behind, and Doja, I'm not quite sure if he has seen the head of Demasig. It doesn't seem to be the case. He sneaks around, tries to find possibility of a connector player. So as we're seeing it, Adren getting Buster is not the best of a deal. Doja has been hurt. Demasig is patient. Oh, Demasig! Oh, you don't do this! Demasig with 1 and 2! Does he get the third? He does! Ramzik, what a timing! AVANGAR is so good with that, though Demasig has had the patience and had the control over it. This would be an insane round if AVANGAR gets it. Demasig found himself 2, down to 6 HP he is, and unbelievable scenes we already had. It's Hobbit getting him in the end. That patience and that trigger control Demasig just delivered. It was beautiful.
Bomb has been defused. Counter-terrorists win.
It's one of the things in life where I would have already shot. And, patience is sometimes something you have to learn as a professional player. And I think right now Demasig gave us a very good taste why you sometimes need patience. How long have you been casting? You heard my voice before. My voice is recognizable, I would say. Sometimes some say it's pansy. Some say it's nothing. Sometimes they say it's a 12-year-old, but I think around 1.5, 2 years, something like that, around that number. And getting back to our actual talk, the auto shotgun. It seems like he picked up the Oscar meta right here and says, you know, if a Czech guy can do it, I can do it easily. And Buster finding himself Doja though, and so it might be the B side being aggressed as no kicker falls down. Dren. Oh well. That could have been working better. And AVANGAR taken already out 2. Doja and Ceased laying in the coffin already. As round number 2 could now go in the favor of the terrorists. 50 more seconds are left on the clock. They already put up the resistance they need to. With the utility they had, basically they could smoke off ramp on the B side, which would be a very safe entrance, considering that when you only have 3 players alive, there's one usually connector, as we have it right here. We have it with a Dren. Then you can smoke off the section right here. You get easily on the site, bomb planted. Money is very happy that you did that. And as we're talking about it, the smoke has not popped. They're rather doing it for the connector, legitimate option, and a Dren has a few opponents directly ahead of him. The worst is no HE. And whilst that is happening, AVANGAR has picked up 2 Molotovs. Krizen is though at the wrong position. And unfortunately, taking that back, Ramzik actually has one. And there's no smoke on the side of Gambit. If he waits that out, he could made it work. Moo is down to 17. He can't defuse while burning. 100% not. He's the only one of the kit though. Hobbit gets himself Krizen. Couldn't get the Molotov running, and so it comes. That is now time pressure building up. The problem, though, is now, Ramzik, do you right now make it? Because that Molotov, it doesn't allow it. It seems like Hobbit as well as Moo have to give this round away. Ah, beautiful to watch. The explosion radius. Ah, you gotta love it. That was well done. AVANGAR finding 2 frags, bringing that bomb down on the B site, and casually picking up 2 Molotovs. 1 bot, 1 from CT. Ramzik did it in the end with the right throw. Seems like he's been made for that. The first 2 rounds, and they're already delivering as one of a hell of a great show. It's lovely to see that. Tree humping, that was good. Yeah, it was hella good. I mean, round number 1 was already good. You're probably talking about that, but round number 2, damn. With that being said, though, Seized already down the drain. Gambit, the issue they right now might occur and might run into is that if they are getting beaten in this round number 3, they will have an economic issue coming up, and their wallets and bank accounts will not be super happy about it. 60 seconds. There's Mel. Find the frag onto Dimasic. As now he trades over to that AK. 41 HP he has. Hobbit has now been taken out by Ramsig, and so it's only 3 left, and all 3 of them are on the side taking that back, correcting it. It's only 1, and that is a Dren who probably doesn't find his luck today. He could get the planter. Ramsig take it. No! He can't deny the plant! What a shame there. Dren, he was like, okay, I pumped 1 million bullets in this guy, it doesn't even matter. And then it goes like that. Lovely to watch, lovely to see. And Hobbit and Co. probably not too satisfied after winning the pistol round, when it even got tight there, as a Dimasic had a risky playstyle. And back on Instagram, I actually asked Kicker, you know, Dimasic, you all have like a 1.1 rating, but Dimasic, he's like down at 1.0. And he said, you know, rating doesn't mean a thing very often. And he says, and that's a very legit point, Dimasic has a very aggressive playstyle that very often wins AVANGAR rounds. Even if he's not successful enough with actually gaining the frags, maybe he does gain those entries. And as we're talking about it, Hobbit gets at least a refrag back there. Onto Ramsig, Kicker, Dimasic, Krisen, and Buster. Not too many casualties. That should happen right here. As the Molo goes deep, Advent already behind Electric. Dimasic finds him. The fast-paced and extremely quick shooting Mach 10 does the job. And now Seized. Executed there by Krisen. CT economy. It's doable. It's really doable, especially when you have lost right now 3 rounds in a row. Perfect time to buy up. We see the AWP coming out at Mo. I'm probably saying, you know, I know that he's called Moo, but in my head, it's Mao all the time. And I probably, you know, many people will say, you just say it like that, and you say it like that, and then my brain is somehow making it wrong either way. But first of all, that glass cannon that now needs to work 100% for the Kazakhstan player. The only 2 Russians, by the way, on the battlefield right now are only Doja, as well as Seized. The rest of both of the teams are Kazakhstan players, and I think a few years back, the most of you probably didn't think that that would be the case. But I have to say, if you really want to take a look at upcoming talents, take a look at the Kazakhstan scene, at the Lithuanian scene, and yeah, I think that's the only thing that right now coming to my mind. Either way. Hobbit finding himself the first onto Dimasic. That entry idea didn't work with him. Kicker though finding Seized, the pop dot control right now taken. The funny story is that with 3 players left and one of them being 9 HP, you still got 9. Excuse me, you still got 50 seconds left with number 9, which is Kicker. Trying to take a bit of B information, can't find too much. Now Buster's on the op, botgan law, we all know it. How much are they able to do with that? As the CTs, all down to 100 HP. They got a Molo, they got a nade, they got a flashbang, but all only onto 1 player. The kit is also only onto Doja. And Hobbit's positioning, it could be very advantageous talking about that. 2 players are back on the side of B. And the rotation, it has to be done as soon as possible. Adren can be taken out in just a second as he's down to 18 HP. That bomb is down, the nade works. And Kickers, oof, he feels pressured, but gets the duel onto Moo. There's only Doja left, he jumps out, and suddenly it's the Glock to only work it. This can't be happening. When you suddenly run out of bullets, it's a Glock you gotta work with, but then you run into the Malo, take more damage, but Ramzik, he should have that. Doja at 10 HP, now on the M4, and there's still a Molly on the belt of Ramzik. He doesn't need to take a single bit of aggression, he only needs to find Doja, and he does so. That is round number 4. AVANGAR hurting Gambit's economy just a bit more. With that being done, I mean, satisfying is once more something very else. And I have to say what I love about AVANGAR so much is that though this roster is comparatively young, they're all boot camping except Ramzik, who just joined the team for around a year by now. And besides that, the oldest one in this roster is Demasik. He's 21 years old. Otherwise, you got three 18-year-olds and one 19. Young guns developing into real good professionals. And I actually see that with a few of those. Krisen right now actually should give him the information right now, the dink. Lucky luck, Demasik didn't come and make them up that. Doja needs to be taken out. Flawless it is. AVANGAR's bank account say thanks a lot for that. I'm very happy when we receive some dollars. Jamie's good, but I feel like Ramzik fits better in AVANGAR. Actually, when I talked to Kickert, he said that it is actually like that. He feels like he's fitting very well, and they're not having too many starter issues. And we're seeing that right now. A few best of ones they're losing because there's something going wrong internally with them. But on the other side, I mean, AVANGAR, 5-1, Gambit's map pick, you could run away with that. The issue, though, is that you now have to show that major consistency and that major knowledge, strategic finesse, and individual skill to take them all out. Now Demasik, though, finds Hobbit. That is the aggression towards Ivy. He was being punished the previous round. Now he's being rewarded. And, you know, taking a very aggressive approach, finds himself that as well. Doesn't even dare to walk for that Molly, but Kickert, he's already on the ramp. And his feet are making a lot of noise towards the B side, where Doja should hear that. He's hiding himself as much as possible. That Mump should just go down, as though, unfortunately, it was too strong, and Krisen still looks for the duel. That was not too great. That plant was necessary, and Mo, he's getting himself that ace. Finding one after another, coming from Ivy down to the B site. And Seized down to 06 besides that. Can't connect onto too many players right now. Something very else. Yeah, I probably said that and probably made no sense. Sometimes my brain, you know? Talking many hours on your own gets your brain. You know, it's most of the time something very firm, but it gets a little bit of gooey. And Adren is making right now goo out of Krisen as well as Demasik. Doja down to 17 HP. But luckily enough, still surviving. Finding himself a player pushing down the B ramp. AVANGAR in just 35 seconds, losing free. Also losing a good bunch of money with those frags. I doesn't know how Dojo's coming in. Should be an easy frag for Kickert. Takes him out. Ramzik does the same. The two last individuals. Just only down to Ramzik right now. He has to just find himself 3 players in 35 seconds. Seems to be impossible, and yet it is. So, after that 1-5 scoreline, this is right now the point where AVANGAR could have run away, because this was where Gambit invested pretty much all their money in a double-up setup. if right now that would have been successful for them, they would not only would have gotten themselves the 6th round, but also Gambit pretty much on an eco. So unfortunate for AVANGAR. I think that pretty much sums it up. But unfortunate situations don't bring you success, which means back in the focus. Get your head back in the game. As now, who's not giving himself those shots. Kicker is moving away. As he just hovers over Pop Doc, gets no shots onto himself. This Gambit is rather playing it back on sight. And he'll abuse that. Kicker will come down with Buster. Prison just waits for the right timing. And he could actually have that. Adren up on the wagon. Considers to take as much control towards teammate as possible. Having the vision in that direction is majorly helpful. Now Kicker and Kodo have to consider which way they want to go. And Kicker seems to call for the support of Themasic. To not deviate any further from the success he could technically gain in such a round. Buster. Oh, he sees Ceased. And that's a very surprising positioning, which now gains you success, though. They have to consider Ceased. They have to take it out as well. There he is, finding himself 2 players flashed. Nothing more, though. Moving rather up. Smoke pops. That bomb is going to be down. And Doja can't do anything about it. Same for Moo. As that retake will be a little bit tougher. C's coming for connector as well. And Themasic, as he only got the CZ, wants to go for that aggressive kind of play. Doesn't find himself that frag. He seemed to be a little bit off with the aim right there. When it should have been 100% sharp on the opponent. But that bomb, it ticks away and it ticks away. Down to a 2v2. Ramzik has to do all the work. He finds himself one. And there's only one opponent left. Don't go for the no-scope. He does it either way. When security would have been a crucial part of this, he rather goes for the no-scope. He was just so confident that this would work either way. He said, okay guys, I'm removing my right mouse button real quick. I'm only using the left one. That in the end worked. 3 to 6. Gambit down to pretty much $0. Same goes for the AVANGAR side, but I think we don't need to argue who's got the better bit of armory as well as weaponry. Advantage not immense yet, but it could basically advance a bit further. Krisen finding himself one. Dren on the same kind of occasion, finding Krisen as well. As Doja's now taken out, they should have realized this is actually the one player on the Gambit side that usually takes that aggression, pop a smoke. You're good to go. They'd rather play it safe. That you don't want to lose it unnecessarily. Hobbit has a good position in case Themasic is getting closer and closer. He knows where he is right now, and he rather keeps a bit of distance there. Molly popping. That doesn't make it work in the end. As Hobbit rotates back, Dren is down to 19 HP, and I think if he would fall down, he would actually die. Just a little side fact. Maybe survive with 1 HP as well. There's the max 7. Still uncomfortable to play against at such a close range. So it's got to be now AVANGAR doing the job. Moo sprinting under suppressive fire. Finds himself Kicker though. 78 HP he has left, and it gets a little tricky. Oh, this is not too good. That AWP is down. And the problem is now on a Dren. Buster has a bit of time left, but not too much he has. And looks in the wrong direction. Oh no. Buster finds himself one. Knows Adren is still on top. He could Molotov him out. And he gets him either way. What a beautiful headshot. To secure round number 7 for AVANGAR. He just probably saw just a few pixels here and there. And then was able to rip off the head of the final player of Gambit. Giving them right now the opportunity to take home that half. Just 1 round. And though I have to say, I'm a fan of AVANGAR. I like Kicker, he's a cool guy. I would be kind of surprised if they take out Gambit on their own map pick. As though what you have to say about this map. 16 times AVANGAR has played Train. 11 out of 16 times they've won this map. So now, they got a way stronger opponent who usually plays against way stronger opponents. They still have the winning formula in hand, using it as much as they can, and crack every single bomb site open most of the time. No waffling, no misconstruction. All set in the way they like to. And that puts Hobbit now in a situation where he has to fight for. Nearly impossible it seems to be. That probably is in the end. Ramzik as well as Hobbit are so close to each other. He could pick up an AWP, but logically Buster on the scene, making it work. And AVANGAR losing only 2. Their bank accounts once more saying thank you. Kicker, I dare to say, it's the sharpest Kazakh player when it comes down to aiming. He is. Recently, I think it was even against Flipside, he nearly dropped a 40 bomb, if I'm not totally wrong. So that was, even as an IGL, very, very impressive. So Kicker, keep him on your radar. You'll probably see him on the list of upcoming top players very soon. Whilst that being the case, the only thing I really want to watch in this round is Hobbit and his taser. Start a smoke and a Molotov. Giving Demisek a good bit of option. No! He missed it! The electroshock. Somehow it looked on, but then it also didn't. Zeus, oh Zeus, why do you play at Navi? And with that being said, at 83, we're all extending to 93 in just a second. Gambit. This round, they didn't come in with much. Finding a frac or two is already beneficial to their economy. Talking about it though, Adren being the lone survivor in round number 12 for Gambit. And most of the time you have to say, Gambit, there is a percentage point difference in CT and T sites by, if I calculated right, 6 percentage points. And they're 6 percentage points better on the CT site, which makes it a little bit worse for Gambit, as, you know, right now they should feel comfortable. This is the position they would like to play, and they would like to start in after winning the pistol round, excuse me, the knife round. I wouldn't say they're playing dilettante, far away from that. It's Demisek actually riddling all the system a little bit up, you know? They have a very solid, very well-based kind of default. But when Demisek strikes, which he does very often, he usually finds maximum 1 or 2 frags, but he has the right impact to actually disable that entire setup of Gambit, making it a little bit shaky, making it a little bit loose, and then opening up opportunities for AVANGAR. Look at the scoreboard real quick. Not surprised to see Ramzik up there, 13-7, while C's on the Gambit side down to 2-10 after 13 rounds. Quite, well, disappointing. I would call it like that. It is disappointing. And AVANGAR rising right direction. Finding himself Buster. Kick though, getting the refrac onto the Russian player. Popping the smoke. Going for a flashbang as well. So they can enforce the rotation of at least Seized. Ammo getting more back and back. So what I can think of what they'll try to do. Kick Ramzik, Demisek, they're all holding themselves towards the B site. They don't try to sell Gambit a bit of a fake here. They're going a little later. Be like, okay, it was just a fake, guys, but in the end, it wasn't. Ren has a very good positioning there to find a few. Now rotates back on the site. Just waits for AVANGAR to make the move that might finish them off. Demisek is in the right corner. He has been spotted. He has been hurt. C's can't do anything about it. And now an assistance player is coming over as well. Who is the only man alive to be right now present on the B side, and he's even whiffing his shots. Make him just such an easy target as the position is known. Kicker and Coach shouldn't have too many problems right now. Hobbit though, fully blind and also through smoke. Getting the star player of the AVANGAR site. Demisek needs to avoid those flames as they hopefully not elevate like Counter-Strike sometimes likes to do. Ramzik, while standing on the top, has a good position. Finds a frag on Tamu. And in case Hobbit even gets both of them, he has no smoke, no kit, and Ramzik still has the molly. With that being said, jumping as much as possible. Hobbit waiting it out, hopefully finding himself 2. It's 1, but that should be pretty much it. Themasic now is aware. Dings him down through some material. That could execute if there's an explosion. It does. No CT surviving. And after 3 successful rounds off the side of Gambit, AVANGAR is already reaching the double digits. 10-3. And quiet, average wallet from Gambit. Losing on their map pick, train CT side or T side, I would say right now CT sided, as Gambit is usually the team that plays better on CT. Losing on their map pick, losing their map. Yeah, I mean, it's a little early to say that they're losing already. When sides are being switched, we might see an AVANGAR suffering from the aggression that those guys Gambit can bring us. To give you a little bit of a statistic talk though, 50-50. Pretty much is for AVANGAR regarding CT and T-side round wins, making it not look too easy right now for Gambit. But they should be aware that being disgruntled right now is the wrong approach to the game, as if you are, you're not finding yourself too much success throughout time to time. With that being said, bomb going onto just a side where Ramzik is finding himself Doja as he was a lone man surviving. Well, gets him taken out. Another and the final buy coming in from the major winners of Russia and Kazakhstan. I don't know how you feel about it. I still feel kinda surprised. They're all pretty much from the same scene. I mean, like mentioned, 8 players right now on the server are from Kazakhstan. I'm quite sure they know each other. Little side fact, the team Ramzik just came from Fitch Joint, called Tengri. Quite cool logo they got, and Ramzik now getting that entry on the opponent Opera as he seemingly was just a few steps out of the smoke, making him exposed whilst he can't see a thing. The double op setup has though been established right now. Hobbit finds him 1, sees, not successful. Doja needs to clean it up, and he does. The B side is his, and you can't take that away from the X-God himself. Ramzik and Krizen now somehow need to figure a way to bend this round in their favor. The man disadvantage is on them. Doja down to 19 HP though. It's Ramzik. Take the control over Ivy together with his teammate. Adren is quite aware of the situation. He expects AVANGAR to converge together on the A side through that position. As he holds it, waits just for the flashbang eventually. Crisendo has the height advantage and he gets himself 1. They gotta expect him though. Ramzik gets the frag. And if he's fast enough, there's no aggression coming in from Doja in time. The player who just has 19 HP, but he comes down pop dock. And Ramzik has the kind of idea for it. Just 1 body shot and this player's taken out. The Molo could do it. As no, it does! Oh, that looked like he was burning away, but whilst burning, getting himself Ramzik, but then it was a single body shot for the 18-year-old Kazakhstan player who then survives with 16 points of health. I am astonished how AVANGAR picks up 12 rounds right now. You never probably expected this to be the case. Sure, a few of you who know AVANGAR would have said, yeah, they're picking up a few. It's the opponent's map pick though. Gambit should know what they're doing right here. It should be actually Gambit from start on, having a perfect defense, having the right kind of setup to hold up every opportunity AVANGAR wants to seize. But with that happening, with that actually not happening, more likely to say, AVANGAR on 12th, Gambit can now show us what they're actually made of. It's time to blossom like a flower in the spring. As the initial situation is now giving Gambit that new canvas to paint on. If you do want to paint on that, you need some bright colors and a good artist. Maybe Bob Ross. Bob Ross. I love Counter-Strike. Either way. Getting into it. Ivy control wants to be taken. Buster can't do much about the 9mm rushing at him. And so it might get a little bit tricky as there comes the first aggression from Adren. Krizen is running out of options, finding himself too. And keeping the dream alive right now. Ramzik eventually has not been spotted. Hobbit up on top. You didn't see him. Oof, and that is logically costing your life. Kicker against 3. Can't connect onto Hobbit. 4-12. And AVANGAR. There's the round given away. It's the Kazakhstan site. Find themselves not the pistol around here. So this is giving the red guys the advantage to now buy up as good as they can. Galil twice, a Kate twice, and a Doja with the full utility in hand. The best thing to do right now for AVANGAR is to pray that your opponents are running into you. And I mean, Buster on that Deagle, I have a good feeling about him. Chris is taking a lot of control towards A main right now with nothing being spotted. And this should be the opportunity right now to rotate as fast as you can. Kicker has popped a smoke. This holds them off for a little longer. And what I love to see, they have the information. Nothing is A main at the moment. Nothing is towards Ivy. It just has to be B for the next few seconds. Nemasic, as he wants to listen to this as good as possible. His team has a good bunch of information. Doja gets a body shot here from Buster, so they know Ivy's at this point in time a no-go. Nemasic can't connect whilst Krizen finds himself too. Oh, and he just rotates away in time. I see now might just find himself seized. Is not the case. Adren as well. Seized now need to be taken out, and Buster could have a good positioning to do this. 40 seconds, the side to be taken. Kicker gets info and now needs to chill a second or two. As he needs to wait for his teammates to come. Seized is falling, and now Adren with the AK is the last surviving part of the Gambit side. Buster doesn't hit his shots, and so much pressure on the Kazakhstan player, and I'm not quite sure if I'm believing what I'm seeing here. But Adren has 20 seconds to either take A or B, and he's pretty much pinned down right now to go for the B site. Kicker just the chillest guy on earth, waiting this out. 9 seconds. Adren has to be found. No, you don't do the knife. Oh, Kicker, why are you doing this? He still doesn't have enough time left. What a disrespect from Alexei of AVANGAR. You got to be kidding me. What is the young gun side doing? And Adren asking himself, what the hell did you do there? This game keeps on giving and giving and giving. We had the first round being insane already, with the patience on Nemasic being a crucial part. The second round, where AVANGAR with just that force was able to pick up Gambit, and a repetition of what we had during the first half already happened right here. The scenes we're seeing on Train are unbelievable. As Ramzik finds himself the first, Doja finds himself nothing there against Buster, while the MP9 is lethal enough to take down 2. The initial situation after 25 seconds looks brilliant here for AVANGAR, and I kind of think... I don't want to call it yet, I don't want to jinx it, but it kind of is going not in the way of Gambit at all. They're not on the scene, they somehow are not forearmed, and there's not many things you can actually grant them. Gambit on 2k basically. With that kind of economy, you're just going for the pistols. Get yourself armor and see that your young gun opponent is running away with it. 14-4. The upcoming one will be the third losing bonus for Gambit, so not even the maximum they have reached, which puts them in a quite bad situation for the upcoming one as they force through. They basically need to win this with the ZZs. It doesn't start off good for Adren. Doja's out already. Major defense they have built up, and now Nemasic maybe looking in the wrong corner. He does. Doja gets found, and then the UMP is doing enough work. And sees this picking up Ramzik. Not the most solid one. Adren. Oh, he does not hit the timing on Kicker. And Krizen is on the scene. Now it's only one man to find. An ex-Na'Vi player joining February this year with 11 points of health left. And after 19 rounds, Sad thing for Seized, he only found 5 frags. That B bomb site will be taken. The plant is just gonna be initiated. There this thing comes down. Both players have a kit, a smoke, everything they could dream of. Just need to find the weakest link of Gambit right now. Shouldn't be too hard, and it shouldn't be too difficult to do so, as Kicker checks angle by angle. They have no real time pressure due to the kits they have on their backs. Kicker just needs to find Seized. Wrong direction. He sees him. One spray, and you got it. 15-4. Gambit benefiting a lot from that bomb plant. At least a little bit, to say it like that. So it will be 15-4, where Gambit invests as much as they can right now to hopefully get themselves even that round number 5. Hobbit falls early. Demastic needs to look at his top. Gets himself one. Could connect on the second. The AWP, which is actually a scout, my bad. Not too successful. That has been hurt. Taken out. Doja can get that bomb plant easily. Sees the last man to be alive. Gets kickered. And 2 and 56 HP are good possibilities to get that round. Buster, dangerous angle, still finds it. 16-4, and probably no one believed that this is gonna happen. Gambit not successful, finding 4 rounds on this map. Abysmal, you kind of could say. Gambit winning both pistol rounds, by the way, to just give you a kind of idea. Still only achieving 4 in total, and AVANGAR running away with this. We're directly going on Mirage in just a bit. And with that being said, on Mirage, we're going to see an AVANGAR having their own map, home soil. Kickert and Co. will play. And I actually somehow see that the young guns from Kazakhstan have a good option to show us what they're actually made of and to bring us that 2-0 victory, and to actually, with that being said, access the StarSeries I-League Season 5. If that will be the case, if we'll see it in the end, and if we're going to witness a Gambit now going skyrocket on the opponent's map pick, we'll see it. We're taking a little break. My name is Sesht with exclamation mark cast, so you can figure out everything you want to. Until then, we're taking a little break. Grab yourself something to drink and eat, because that will be one hell of an exciting match coming up.
LootBet, online esports betting. Dota, CSGO, Overwatch, Hearthstone, and many more. Bet on tournament matches or in-game events while viewing them live. Deposit using money, bitcoins, or even skins. Join LootBet now. Use the code you see here when you deposit and grab your bonus.